Kicking it off in Kansas City. Well, let's play a game of what if. Hey, Harry Douglas, what if Lamar dominates on Kansas City's field tonight?
It'll be the first win of the season for the Baltimore Ravens, and you're happy, but you're not satisfied because we know when it matters the most is being able to do that in the playoff setting. We've seen Lamar Jackson defeat Patrick Mahomes in a regular season setting. It's all about the playoffs. Can you not only do it in the regular season, can you carry it over to the playoffs and be able to do it in that manner as well?
See what tone is set tonight. Jason, let's go to Monday night in San Francisco. What if Aaron Rodgers plays like an MVP against the 49ers?
Man, if he plays like an MVP, Greeny, you got to get your bees ready and get ready to head to New Orleans because this team will be a Super Bowl contender. If they can get an MVP level out of Aaron Rodgers with the defense that they've had, how they've been able to just stay afloat with some of the worst quarterback play, they're going to be a team we're talking about late in the season.
I'm buying beignets for everybody if it works out that way. Kmart, let's go to Atlanta on Sunday. What if Russell Wilson struggles against the Falcons?
Greeny, that's not good. I think the running clock in Mike Tomlin's head starts going. That doesn't mean he's going to make a change very quickly, but if Russell starts making the non-negotiable mistakes, whether it be fumbles, taking sacks, holding on the ball too long, you can't really keep that at quarterback for an entire 17-game season.
Okay, Dan, let's stop there for a minute. Let's focus in on this. There's no secret, if anyone who watches the show, I'm the world's biggest Justin Fields fan and believer, but let's put that aside for a minute. Through a quarterback's eyes, what will you be watching for specifically in Russell Wilson that will tell you, no, he's the right guy here, and he's going to hang on to this job?
Yeah, if he's holding on to the football. And if he holds on to the football this weekend, Pittsburgh will get stomped by Atlanta. And that's my big concern in this game because Jesse Bates, who's the Atlanta Falcons safety, and now the addition of Justin Simmons, I say they're in the conversation for great liars. As a quarterback, you sit there and look at them, you go, I don't know what they're doing, and that forces you to play hesitant football, and all of a sudden interceptions or sacks become, and we know that's the story of Russell Wilson is holding on to the football and sacks. And I'm telling you, these safeties individually have been spectacular at doing that to quarterbacks. These picks where you go, where did that guy just come from? I didn't even see him. And now that they're together, they're going to lie with each other. And if Russell plays in that, I don't know what I'm necessarily looking at, they're going to get picks. He's going to hold the football. This pass rush will get going in Atlanta. And they will get, because here's the thing. Dinkin and Duncan ain't going to beat Atlanta, okay? Atlanta's going to score 24 plus, I think. And so Russ not only has to be like really efficient, he's going to have to find ways in this offense to be explosive.
And I'm looking at this, if you're Russell Wilson, he's a veteran. This is 10 plus years of NFL experience, a Super Bowl champion. The reason Mike Tomlin goes with a Russell Wilson is because in a week one game against safeties like Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons, he's seen it all before. He has to be able to go out there and execute against these guys. They're not showing him disguises that he hasn't seen before. So to your point, you're correct, but there's no excuses for Russell Wilson to not be able to diagnose.
But J-Mac, he's never really done that. That's my concern. That's never really been who Russ is. Russ has been unbelievable, Hall of Fame trajectory. Yeah. But when he's been the I don't know or I'm confused, it's go make something
happen. And Arthur
happen.
Smith has to make sure he's putting him in those positions to not have to do those things.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
Fair point.
What sense do you have, talking to the people there, being around them as you have, of just how solid, pardon me, the ground is under Russell as the season starts?
So on one hand, you have Russell Wilson being named the captain, and you're and from the beginning, Russell was given pole position, and you think, okay, all right, they're going with the vet, makes sense. But when you watch this Steelers offense for the last couple years, the offense has held them back. This is a team that had Kenny Pickett, Mitchell Trubisky, and Mason Rudolph last year, and the fans were frustrated. They haven't had, it seems like they've had Band-Aids since Big Ben retired. Yeah. And so you can't, after last season, you can't let this play out and play out the string. You've got to make a change because they don't have an explosive offense, and they need that.
And I think for Russell Wilson, it has to be conviction, right, of what you're doing from an offensive standpoint, from the quarterback position. If you line up George Pickens in the slot and then a tape that you showed during the preseason, and he has a jerk route versus a linebacker or a safety, that's, number one, an indicator that that's where we want to go with the football. Don't throw it outside to the hitch where the receiver runs up 5 yards and just stop. Arthur Smith is trying to give him answers to the test, but there's no conviction from a preseason tape that we have on Russell Wilson doing those things.
And I want to ask the question because there are people who are making fantasy decisions, et cetera, et cetera. Forgetting about who's starting, Russell Wilson is starting. He's going to finish the game. Yeah. How much Justin Fields do you expect to see week one, if any?
I don't see a ton. Maybe in the red zone situations. I'm always hesitant with this because the rhythm of an offense matters so much, especially for an offense that's not going to be incredibly explosive. And if you take the quarterback off the field and you bring Justin on and then it doesn't go well, now a noisy situation becomes an even bigger one, because that's when you can start to fracture a locker room. So as much as there is the appeal to do it, in the red zone, maybe, but I'm so hesitant and always doing that.
Jason, if you're playing defense and against this team this weekend, and you see Justin Fields run out onto the field, is your first thought, okay, here we go? Or is your first thought, oh no, this is not what I wanted to see?
My first thing is, here comes the quarterback run game. And it's probably a little bit of, we don't want to see this, because Justin Fields adds an entirely different element to the game. Whereas now we could just be playing a pass, he gets outside the pocket, and now we have probably one of the best running backs on their football team once he tucks the ball and starts to run. So I would feel as a defender, oh no, because with Russ, we know for the most part where he's going to be.
Okay, we will be all over this game and all of them as we continue this morning. NFL season starts tonight. That's on the way. The first full Sunday is 3 days away, and maybe the most interesting game is this one. The Cowboys in Cleveland opening the season. CeeDee Lamb's got a deal. Dak Prescott doesn't. So many questions surrounding the Cowboys. Jerry Jones sat down with our Stephen A. Smith for Steve's show. So many interesting things came out of that. You must watch and listen to it. Here's the one we picked out. This is Jerry on how he thinks his team is now.
Well, I feel a lot better than some of the critiques that maybe I'm getting more than they are, but I'm sensitive to them. Okay. But I'm frankly a little surprised. I'm surprised that it isn't more apparent to fans that we put an outstanding team together. I think the team is in better shape to roll than it was last year.
He thinks the Cowboys are better than they were last year. Damn.
75% of your starting secondary is gone. Your defensive coordinator became a head coach in the NFL. The center that you had signed for $30 million as a free agent somewhere else. The left tackle that you had signed for $20 million as a free agent somewhere else. And your starting tailback went for $27 million somewhere else. How can you possibly be better than you were last year when 7 different starting pieces went elsewhere for more money?
Dio, that's not even the worst part. Jerry Jones firmly believes that. That's the worst part. It was last week I said Jerry was delusional. I think it's getting worse now. Like that he actually believes that the Dallas Cowboys are a better team today than they were a season ago. That's insane to me.
The beauty of all of this is we're talking about a team that's won 12 games the last 3 years. Amongst all the chaos, they seem to thrive during the regular season and win football games. To your point, there's no way starting out in September, week 1, you can say, I feel better about this team.
way.
And that's all the stuff that went on in the offseason.
To Dan, what Dan was saying, look at their running back room. It was a guy in Zeke Elliott who they thought, okay, we can move on from. Now, 2 years later, we're going to bring him back. Oh, and sprinkle in Dalvin Cook now. And we're going to cook. That is, to me.
Their running back room is having dinner at 5 o'clock. Let's just be clear, okay? They were the best running back room in the NFL if this was 2019. But unfortunately.
I love a good 5 o'clock dinner, 9 o'clock bedtime,
look,
Greeny.
I'm not knocking it. I'm saying you add up their ages. They're my age, okay? I'm not knocking anybody for being old, but there's just no way in the world they are better. The question is, how good are they capable of being? Open up the notebook. This is Kmart's game this weekend. You'll be in Cleveland. Open up the notebook. What do we need to know?
So the big issue is we finally got CeeDee Lamb back in the fold. The reality, though, is how much will CeeDee Lamb play? Mike McCarthy has said, we are ramping up to Sunday. We have a plan as far as like getting the workload into the week that he can get done so he's able to play Sunday. But here's the thing, even when he plays, we're going to be looking like, is he going to pull something? Is he going to be able to play the whole game? And, of course, the Browns know that their offense flows through CeeDee.
Let me ask Harry that question as a wide receiver. If CeeDee Lamb at his best is 100, what should we expect from him this week, bearing in mind he's been in camp less than 2 weeks?
I would say 80, 85%. He's not going to be 100%. You miss an entire training camp. And wide receiver, being in shape at the wide receiver position is different than every other position, probably outside of DB, because they have to run alone. But think about this. At CeeDee Lamb, you have to run 60 yards, run back, run another 40 yards, run back, go across in motion and formationally, and do a lot of different things as the centerpiece of your offense. He's not in shape enough, I don't think, to play an entire football game. So they're going to have to say what percentage of plays is CeeDee Lamb going to play on top of going against a team in the Cleveland Browns in which week 1 last year, they went against Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins and said, we don't give a damn who they are. We're going to play man coverage. We're going to blitz and shut them down.
Tough matchup for the Eagles against Green Bay. I feel that way.
Yeah.
Bad matchup for the Cowboys against Cleveland. On the road, starting a rookie at left tackle, starting a rookie at center. Who's the defensive end for Cleveland?
Yeah, Miles. Everybody. Yeah.
Okay, Myles Garrett. Y'all remember last year when he was doing the crossover?
Yeah.
Where was he on the line of scrimmage doing that?
Over the center.
Over the center. So I'm starting 2 rookies against the defensive line that chases quarterbacks. And to Harry's point, you can make the case this is the best man-to-man group in the league, coverage-wise, with Newsome and Emerson and Ward.
Denzel Ward.
So if we're sitting there going Cleveland at home, which was remarkable at home last year, playing man coverage, I don't care. CeeDee Lamb is fantastic, but they can cover. And now you got to deal with a pass rush with some young players. It's just a bad matchup for Dallas week 1.
And in that building in Cleveland, they are confident with that matchup for sure.
Yeah, look, the other side of it is interesting. The Browns are a team, they don't get a lot of attention. They're in a tough division. We all understand that. The Browns made the playoffs last year with arguably the best defense in the NFL and essentially Joe Flacco coming off the couch and leading them into a playoff spot. Deshaun Watson, there are a lot of questions. Is it possible he recaptures some of what he was? I want everyone to watch Jason McCourty. He knows him a little bit here. J-Mac has gone head-to-head against Deshaun Watson. Can we go back to October 15th, 2017, please? There's Deshaun rolling out. J-Mac, what do we got here?
Cookie!
Now, let's put some context to this. The Houston Texans won this game. I think the score was 33-17, and it was probably 33-3 at that point. So we got dominated. But, hey, you got to be a lone star sometime in a bad situation. The ball gets thrown to you, make your play, and go do something.
Why did you ruin that? You didn't have to do that. No one in the audience knew that. You absolutely could have just said,
integrity. He's a man of honor.
They see those Cleveland Browns out there, and they're like, well, maybe it was when Hawk was there and they were 1-15, or the year after when J-Mac was there and they were 0-16. So either way, they probably didn't win that game.
I'm pretty sure I actually have a significantly worse interception that I threw to either him or his brother in college that was from me to him.